And let's talk about this further. We have my colleague Vishal Baristo with me, as well as we have India Foundation's director Alok Bansal joining us as well. If I could come to you, Alok Bansal, what is the situation that is bubbling over in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir? If you could just brief our viewers about it, because this has been an issue that has been hanging fire for a long time, but it seems that the unrest is something which has perhaps been now it's going to a level where Islamabad has also alarmed. The government has sent a delegation to talk to the agitators.
See, we need to be clear that this is the third major demonstration in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, especially in Mirpur, Muzaffarabad region, which has actually stemmed. And this stems from people's frustration with the government and the way Pakistan is dominating this region and treating it as a virtual colony. This time, the people had 38 demands because the last demonstration, Pakistani government had promised to reduce their electricity bills and floor bills, etc. Now, this time, there are 38 demands, out of which there are two major demands. That is, the refugees who have come from Indian held areas or Indian administered areas, Jammu and Kashmir, their seats, which have 12 seats in the assembly, that needs to be done away with, and the elite perks, which most government officials who are actually in this area enjoy, where they have 2 cars to themselves, unlimited petrol, and allowances for different things. And most of these officials who are in this particular part are actually from outside. And there are, of course, issues of infrastructure because there is no proper road connectivity, etc. They are asking for tunnels, bridges. The airport in Muzaffarabad is not in use for years. So they are asking for all these things. And against this, what Pakistan is doing is that they're using repressive policies. They have brought in police and troops from outside POJK and are trying to curb the people's aspirations and demands. And obviously, there is a huge reaction, not only in POJK, but also the people from this part are protesting now in Islamabad and Karachi. And we saw what happened, that the troops moved into press clubs in Islamabad and Karachi and actually arrested the journalists actually, and even physical violence was conducted against them.
Right. Let me also bring in Vishal. Vishal, what is the situation on the ground now? Because earlier the agitation had taken a violent turn and people were killed as well by the police. And right now, of course, there's a dialogue on too. So in that sort of situation, is it a tenuous peace that we're looking at, or is it a situation which is like a powder keg?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Gautam. As I speak to you, this is day 2. So the unrest still continues despite of all the peace negotiations. The first challenge for the Pakistani government is somehow to restore peace and also to curb the violence. The Pakistani side, Jammu and Kashmir, people are not very happy with the way infrastructure is there. And as I speak to you, there is a complete shutdown of internet. And a lot of youths we are getting to know, and we also have pictures and visuals. They have pitched tents in the United Kingdom protesting against the shutdown of internet. And thousands have come out marching from the Jhelum Valley to Muzaffarabad, which is the capital of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Now the problem is that the citizens there on that side of Jammu and Kashmir, they always compare their infrastructure and facilities with the people who are staying in the Indian side, and that is why they are not so very happy. And the atrocities that the Pakistani government and the police have committed on the journalists, they have tried to curb the expression of free expression of speech. So all kinds of atrocities, and yes, the violence continues. They have burned down the road rollers and all kind of obstacles raised by the Pakistani police. So the negotiations are on, but the violence continues, the protest continues, and the Awami Action Committee is not very happy with what the government has to offer as far as Pakistan is concerned.
Certainly. Alok Bansal, how do you see the situation being handled by the Pakistani government? There's the government in Islamabad, there's the government in the province as well, which of course supposedly has some sort of autonomy, but when it comes to
See, as
settling
far
these
as
matters,
Gautam it
you
is
have
concerned,
delegations coming in from Islamabad to take care of it.
see, as far as the Islamabad's actions are concerned, Islamabad has always used a sledgehammer to kill a fly, and that's what is happening. In fact, we are seeing that the reaction from the Pakistani state has been overwhelming, where they have actually gone after journalists in Islamabad, Karachi. They've killed people, civilians have died in firing, and that has created a huge issue. And I think that needs to be rectified.
Yes, but do you think that is something that will be done this time around? People are very agitated. It does seem that they will not give up unless their demands are accepted, especially about privileges. There are reports from the ground. I was reading that government officials these days are not even taking, for the last 2-3 days, are not even taking their official vehicles because they fear they'll be attacked. They're hiring bikes to get to work.
See, there is no doubt. I think the demands are very valid, and I don't think so. Pakistani elite, because these officials are basically Pakistanis. They are not from this region. They will be willing to give up their perks and privileges. At the same time, these 12 seats allow these people who are living in Pakistan to actually control this region. And that's why the people are demanding that these seats must be done away. Because please understand, these 6 seats are for people from Kashmir Valley who are living in Pakistan, 6 seats for people from Jammu region living in Pakistan, and they sit in the assembly in Muzaffarabad. So that's why the people are demanding that they should not be allowed to participate in these proceedings and they should be done away with. But these are the two demands which are very complicated and have not been accepted by Pakistani government till now. So to my mind, the confrontation is likely to last for a very long time.
But Alok Bansal, there is of course what's happened in the sidelines of the UNHRC as well, where Pakistan has been labelled as a rogue state. But at the same time, we see Pakistan, which was at one point was completely isolated, once again being embraced by Donald Trump in Washington DC, and the Saudis now have a defense pact with Islamabad. So how is that happening?
See, as far as US is concerned, as you know, US is going through a very different phase right now, where personal benefits, personal aggrandizement is actually controlling Pakistan's policies. And Pakistan's army chief has found out a way of pandering to President Trump's ego, and that's actually helping them. And so I think that is facilitating. But Saudi Arabia actually having a defense pact with Pakistan is a very significant development. And I think this shows that firstly, Saudis now don't trust Americans to provide them defense cover. And secondly, to some extent, I think Pakistan has managed to peddle to the world that its defensive capabilities and its nuclear umbrella is available for hire.
Right. Dangerous development indeed. Thank you so much for joining us, Alok Bansal. I'm told you have to be elsewhere, so we have to let you go. Let me come back to Vishal. Vishal, again on the ground, what is the sense that you're getting? Because as we could make out from the images that have come in and the inputs that we're getting, people are really agitated, and this time around they're in for a fight, a fight to finish.
Well, absolutely well said, Gautam. Fight to finish, because they are fighting for their right, and they've been taken for granted for a very long time. And as I speak to you, the protest continues at Ajar Bridge, Azad Pattan, Ajar Bridge, Kotli. Now, these are the areas that are most affected, and that is why it is there in the news. And Pakistan government for long have been trying to suppress the emotions and the voices of the people. But
there's a blackout even now.
People have come out on the streets, and the visuals say it all. Yeah.
All right, Vishal, let's leave it at the moment, and thanks so much for joining us to talk about the situation in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, which has witnessed protests from time to time, but this time around it seems they're very widespread almost throughout the entire region and extremely serious.